Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stuck to Unstoppable right here in the KS Media Group app. This is all part of the beloved 7 day experience where you'll find value each and every day from thought leaders in our group. They consist of coaches, trainers, consultants, doctors, all giving you free value each and every day of the week. So make sure you check out that first page. You don't want to miss any of those episodes. I'm Peggy Bell. I'm an event speaker, and I am so excited to be sharing with you part two of the human connection. Last week, we started talking about the human connection in part one, and we said the human connection was a bond that we make between people when we build trust and we feel heard and we feel valued. We talked about how the pandemic really was a hit to human connection when we had to isolate ourselves. People felt lonely because we're social creatures, and that was really hard for us. Some
Mhm.
of us are still dealing with the effects of having been in lockdown for so long. And even before the pandemic, we talked about the digital age and how that's taking away from the human connection. We need to remember that human connection is not just an exchange of words, but it's an exchange of humanity. It's an exchange of emotions. And it's through that we make our connections and we build that bond and we build that trust. And so today we're going to look at ways that we can help improve the human connection between people. The first way is to call the person by name whenever you can. It I don't know about you, but it feels really good when people take the time to remember your name, especially when you've just been introduced to someone and you are speaking with them and they mention your name and you're like, wow, they remembered. There's something about that bond and that connection that builds it faster. So whenever possible, you want to add the person's name in the conversation. The next one is to be with the person that you are. I don't know about you, but have you ever been around someone, you're having a conversation and you see them looking around or looking at their watch, or a text comes in and go, "Oh, just a minute, and so they're texting and you're just sitting there. Raise your hand if that's ever happened to you. I know it has to me. How did it make you feel? Anybody want to share?
It's so
Yeah,
rude, isn't it? It's like, sorry, Cornelia, off you go.
yeah, it is rude. It is rude, and it makes you feel like you're not valuable, or your time isn't valuable, or your presence isn't valuable because that text or whatever came in is more valuable than what we have going on right here.
Exactly. Nadine, you wanted
Mhm.
to add to that?
Well, no, I was going to say the same actually. I did say it was rude, but yeah, it just makes you feel that, why have you put your time aside for that other person when they're not doing it for you? It's not, that's the way I see it. So
Right.
yeah, definitely agree with that. Yeah.
It's like your importance has just been knocked down a few notches because you're no longer having that conversation of value that you thought you had. So hit the pause button and really listen when you're with a person. And if you can keep your phone off in your purse, in your pocket, or at least on vibrate, silence it so that it doesn't interfere with conversation. Um, if there's an important text or something that you're waiting to come in that's really important, you may want to tell that person ahead of time, this may happen and I apologize ahead of time, but I really need to take this. I'm waiting for this. There's an exception to every rule, but generally speaking, it's really insulting to someone when you have to just sit there while they send the message that what they're doing is more important than talking to you. The next thing is I say is to smile with more than your lips. Because when you give a genuine smile, you're going to see it in your eyes, you're going to see it in your facial muscles. And we all have what's called mirror neurons. If someone yawns, we tend to yawn. We see a baby laughing hysterically, we want to laugh. And so we tend to mirror what's happening. And so if you can give someone that genuine smile, not a fake one, but a genuine one, chances are they're going to smile back at you, and that bond is going to be initiated. Now, it's been said that smooth voices are more appealing. Would anybody like to take a guess why? Why would smooth voices be more appealing? There was a study done amongst American presidents, and 69% of the time, people chose the president that had the smooth voice over one that was loud and boisterous. And it's because when someone has a smooth voice, they tend to have that calming aura about them. And that's what we look for in leadership qualities, over someone who seems to be frantic and hyper and just doesn't have it together. And so if you can control your energy and keep your energy at bay, it's going to make a bigger impact on people that you are trying to connect with. I say that conversations have to be almost like a game of ping pong, back and forth. It's not a monologue, and it's not a one-man show. So both parties need to be interacting. They need to be sharing. They need to be asking questions, and they need to be listening, which is, we really have a problem with listening, don't we? Active listening is a learned skill, and we all need to practice it more and more, because we listen to speak and reply. We don't listen to really learn. And so we need to practice that more, but know that it's a back and forth. It's not just a one-man show or a monologue. And lastly, I say, stay humble. Connecting with the other person is more important than you being right or you being important. Now, I'm not saying you can't share exciting news, but I would do it in a way where if you're speaking with someone, you can say, I've got this exciting news. Would you mind if I share it with you? Right then, you're asking, it's almost like you're asking permission, and you value that person enough that you want to share your news with them instead of just coming out and blurting it out. Then it has a bragging effect. And so if you can just say, do you mind if I share? I've just had some exciting news I want to be able to share with you. It sends a whole different tone. So those are the ones that I can think of about improving your human connection with others. To recap, it's using their name, being with the person you are, full, incomplete, in the present moment, smile with more than your lips, try to control your energy and have that smooth voice about you. Remember that it's like a game of ping pong. It's not all one-sided. It's not a one-man show. And to stay humble. That's going to get you a lot farther. So is there anything anybody can think of another way, or want to talk about any of these that were mentioned? Cornelia?
I love all the tips. I think, and it's something that you do, Peggy. I see you do this. I see you be fully present and smile with your eyes and smiling, and all the tips that you gave. One of the tips that I use for when it's time to celebrate something, when it's time to celebrate something big, I look at my Rolodex, if you will, and I look and I go in there and I look at who is in there that can celebrate to the fullest with me. So that, I'm already deciding ahead of time who is able to celebrate this with me ahead of time, instead of just going to anyone, right? Because depending on, that makes a difference. So that's that's a tool that I use when I want to celebrate something big. I go to the person that I know that can hold it with me and celebrate it to the fullest.
Thank you
I
for
love
sharing
that.
that. Yes.
I love that. I love that. I've just got to say, I love it when someone says my name, Peggy,
Yes.
because actually it makes you feel special, doesn't it? And for me,
Does.
because a lot of people get my name wrong,
Mm.
they pronounce it differently. It's not, I know it's difficult, but you say it beautifully. So does Cornelia. I love that. As soon as I hear my name said, I just go, oh, special. So it really gives me a zing. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that.
And it's actually research has shown that people love to hear their name. So use that
Mm.
whenever possible.
Yeah, no, I love that. Great tips, Peggy. Really, really good
Thank
there.
you. So this brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, all of the thought leaders that are in the KS Media Group app each and every day, part of that beloved 7-day experience. You can find out more about me in the app if you go under directories, about the book that I wrote, Stuck to Unstoppable, Living Life with Power, Passion, and Purpose, and all of the other people who have so much to share, all for free. You can't beat that. So make use of this app, share it with people. They'll be glad you did, and you'll be glad you did. So until next time, remember to go out and live your purpose, because life is short. Make it count. Until next time.